This is absolutely massive for the San Antonio Spurs as we pull off a perfect deal as we land Luke Kornet in free agency as Brian Wright continues to cook for this Spurs roster. The one biggest need, a backup big man for Victor Wembanyama, has been filled. We got to break down Luke Kornet, what the contract structure looks like, and how this is one of the best moves of the offseason for any team. There are some good ones, but this is exactly what we wanted to see. A bunch of great stuff coming up on this episode of Spurs Digest. But guys, quick reminder, still 70% of you are not subscribed. We're on this less than 10 minutes after it's coming out, so if you want the latest Spurs news, hit that free button down below. Brian, let's waste no time. Let's get straight into this. Free agent center Luke Kornet has agreed to a 4-year, $41 million deal with the San Antonio Spurs. Key frontcourt addition for the Spurs, who negotiated the contract. That doesn't matter who it was with. 6 points, 5.3 boards a game. Brian, first reaction, Luke Kornet is a Spur. I mean, $41 million for 4 years, $10 million for a backup big, for a guy that fills the exact role we want. I don't think I could be any happier with this.
Honestly, 10 mil for a backup big, and that's what I want you to understand, right? Because people are going to look at that and see the numbers and see 4 years and think, wow, that's big. Because a lot of free agents aren't getting deals that are over 3 years, right? But because this kid can play and he is the perfect fit. And if you can get a 7'2 center that doesn't need the ball in his hands, that does all the dirty work, and you could get him for under 12 million, just $10 million, you jump at that and you want to keep him here. Luke Kornet is a Spur. This reminds me of when they picked up Thiago Splitter, right? Except he's bigger, he's longer, he's honestly more athletic. Like this is a great pickup. I think a lot of teams that needed a backup center, possibly a fringe starter, were looking at Luke Kornet. So the Spurs came up big because, again, it's all about Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
And now you get to put a 7'2 person next to him and let Wemby go ahead and go to the perimeter and do work. Come on, yo. How can you not be excited?
No, exactly. And it's not just any 7'2 guy. It's a guy that comes off the bench. And, like, if you're the other team, you're like, what on earth am I supposed to do around the rim? This is what we've talked about all the time when we've been discussing Luke Kornet. You know, you see the one block a game in 6 minutes. But I just want to point out, like, his career, his blocks per game have been getting better and better and better as the years have gone on. A block a game with Boston last year in only 15 minutes a game. 19 minutes a game this year, still a block per game. But let me bring up his playoff stats. Because this dude won a title with Boston in 23-24. He's a championship center. And in that title run, played a key role, 10 minutes off the bench this year with Boston. He even started one game for them in the playoffs. I think he had, like, what, a 7-block performance in one game or something like that. He had a great playoffs. 11 games, 1.2 blocks per game, led the entire playoffs in field goal percentage. Like, Brian, again, when we're talking about the guy that you want to pair with Victor Wembanyama, and you look at the makeup of this team, we've been saying for ages how the Spurs really need that rim protection when he's off the floor, because other teams tended to score quite a lot. When Wemby was off, that was a big weak point of us. The point of attack defense, although it's getting better now, again, we have some athletic guards, it can work a bit better. If the point of attack defense is not that great, we had no second line of defense after Wemby went off the floor. Bassie could try, to his may, he didn't really get the job done. Sandro was not really a rim protector, so it's like, now that we bring this guy in, we saw the difference Biyombo made, right? Even this guy who was not even getting picked up by a team, that rim protection presence was very valuable. So not only is this, like, yeah, good value for a backup center, it's a backup center who fills exactly what you needed for Victor Wembanyama whenever he is off the court, let alone when they're both on together.
And you pointed it out, right? Just in 10 minutes, he gets limited usage, right? But he knows what to do. He is a star in his role, and that's exactly what we're going to get from him, right? Like, again, this isn't somebody that we're going to see go into the starting lineup and you see Victor move to the 4. No, there's going to be times when both of them may be on the court, but this is really for when Victor is not on the court. Like you said, somebody that can protect that rim, somebody with size, and somebody that is smart. He is great in the pick and roll. He's going to be great with De'Aaron Fox. He's actually a very good passer. But again, we've only seen him in limited minutes. I think this role he's going to play for the Spurs will probably be more minutes than he normally averages, just because of the way we're going to need him. But think about it. We were paying Zach Collins a few more million to have him on our team. And low-key, we got better. Zach Collins was a great backup big. However, he wasn't the backup big we needed. He was more of a scoring backup big. Now we have a defensive rebounding backup big, which I think is huge for a team like the Spurs that's already stacked with a ton of great forwards, right? A ton of forwards that can play. We just added one in the draft. I think you get this center position locked up now and you get it done for cheap. Now the Spurs can focus on doing other things and not be tied to having to trade one of these assets for a backup center.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like there's multiple reasons why this is very valuable. Like you said, it's the role we need for sure. And I honestly think like when you sign a guy, even if it's above market value, which I don't think it is, I think this is about the market value for Kornet. He's coming off a great year. Yeah, he got paid maybe more than he would have after last year, but like still, right? When a guy fills a role for your team perfectly, the value you get from him is more than what his market value really is because he's filling more of that role. But also, the cap is rising every year. Like, especially with the 4-year deal. Like, I was honestly kind of expecting, like, we talked a lot about Kornet to the Spurs. I wasn't expecting a 4-year deal. If I'm being completely honest, I was expecting maybe a 2 or a 3-year deal because you never really know because, like,
Yes.
he's coming off a good playoff run with Boston, like those kind of deals. But no, the 4-year deal, again, I think it shows commitment to the Spurs, Brian. I think it shows me that, like, we know what we need to get. And I think this is a primer. This reveals a lot about what the plan is moving forward. It's like, if we see a guy that we want to add to this team, we're not afraid to get them on a long-term deal because you got to imagine other teams talking to Luke Kornet were probably offering him 2 or 3-year deals to maybe mitigate the risk, maybe a little bit higher value, but like this is about the price range that could work. Again, it didn't work for Boston. They couldn't shed the salary in time. So to me, like, does the 4-year deal mean anything to you over like a 2 or a 3-year deal? Because to me, I think it just does show that like our Spurs, our front office, like if we see a guy that we want, we're not afraid to like commit to them and go and get him. And I think that's just part of what makes the Spurs so great.
To me, a 4-year deal is a win when you're able to get a guy for a steal,
Yeah.
right? And again, being able to play slightly over 10 mil for 4 years to a center that's going to be playing about 15 minutes, is going to be playing a big portion of this. Because remember, this signing is so important. That backup center is huge to a guy like Wemby when your center is your star piece, right?
Yeah.
Especially when Wemby's shown that he has to miss sometimes due to injuries. This is great because you're able to pair him up. But remember, contracts 10 to 15 million dollars now in the NBA are gold mines for trade packages. So
Mhm.
remember this as well. When you have 4 years, you also have a guy on the hook for 4 years that has a very tradable contract. And people are always looking for bigs. He has a very tradable contract
Yeah.
and an easy contract to maneuver. So I'm not worried about this at all. Sign him for 5, sign him for 6 on this. You know what I mean? 4 years to me isn't a huge deal. How old is the kid? I don't remember how old
I'll bring it up
Luke
here for
Kornet
you. He's
is,
29,
but
about 20,
he's
about 30.
29 years old. So really the fact that he's even going to play throughout this whole contract, it's very rare, right? However, again, this is a very movable contract. It's a contract that you could stack on to another player if you do end up having to make some trades. So to me, I love the 4-year commitment because again, it's it's very rare to get a guy of this caliber
Mhm.
for under 15 million.
Mhm.
So if you do, you better give him that. And that was probably part of it, right? He's probably like, listen, I'll take less money, but I need you to be able to tell me I'm going to have this contract and have this money till I retire from the NBA, right? Because this is probably what it is. This is probably his last big deal. So I'm sure they work together, but honestly, I think that this is just a huge win for the Spurs, a huge win for Brian Wright. They went and did it again. They went and did it again. Fans were so upset about us not going for a big man in the
Yeah.
draft, but look what we did. We actually got a big man that was better than anybody where we were sitting at the time. So this is great. This is excellent. Huge win right here. I think he fits exactly what the Spurs need. I don't know if Kornet fits every NBA team,
No.
but he definitely fits what the Spurs are trying to do.
Absolutely. I mean, the only other thing now we need to do is get some shooting because, like, that is the one thing that, hey, it wouldn't shock me if we saw another move coming for some kind of shooter. I mean, I don't know if Kennard signed yet, but hey, he's one of these guys that's a UFA. I don't know, just some rant. There's a lot of names out there, but like you
But
said,
that's why this is great, right,
yeah,
Josh?
it absolutely is.
Now you could focus on that.
Yeah, that's the
Now
one
you're
thing.
not in a pinch hole to do anything crazy. Now you get to use these assets, either keep them and keep developing, or go trade for whoever you want because now you have these positions filled.
And you got flexibility, like you said too, with that contract. It's like so much flexibility for the next 4 years. You can maneuver stuff on the roster. We have the guys that make enough salary, enough money that we can go make a big trade if we want. Where is it here, right? We got like 29 million Vassell, 27 next year. We got some other bigger contracts, and we also got the young guys. And we also have our solid pieces, like those 10 million pieces that could work so many ways. It's just a nice, great win for the San Antonio Spurs. Can't wait to see what's coming next. But leave your grade for the Luke Kornet signing down below. A, B, C, D. We'd love to hear from you, but that'll do it for this episode of Spurs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We are here. Oh, you got something to say, Brian?
Real quick, Josh,
Go for it.
how funny will it be if Luke Kornet shows Wemby's tall, long self how to do that
Oh
like
no,
vertical jump
oh
where you
man.
don't even close out, you just go straight up, man. Imagine how funny that would be to see Victor doing that.
Oh
Didn't mean
dude.
to cut you off, buddy.
No, man, that's gonna be sick. I thought about the Kornet contest, but like Wemby and Kornet doing that for
Come on,
that's
come on.
terrorizing the NBA on a different level. Okay, leave your thoughts on that as well. But listen, that'll do it for this one. We got a lot of stuff coming this whole off season long, and if you want to stay up to date, hit the free subscribe button down below. I'm Josh Goss, for my co-host Brian Colbert. We'll catch y'all in the next one.